In Germany, there's a very specific moment that happens at the end of nearly every workday. A laptop closes, a desk clears. Someone says a particular word to their coworkers on the way out. That word is Feierabend, and it means much more than simply the end of work.
Literally, it translates to celebration evening, which sounds almost too festive for clocking out.
But the feeling behind it is real. The workday is over, and now the evening belongs to you. Once Feierabend begins, work is expected to stay firmly behind at the office. No lingering emails. No half-finished thoughts about tomorrow's meeting. No guilt about stopping. It's treated less like a time of day and more like a small, sacred boundary. So here's the real question. Why would a single word carry that much weight? The answer says a great deal about how Germany separates work from everything else. For many people elsewhere, work has a way of quietly following them home. A phone buzzes at dinner. An email gets answered from the couch, out of habit. In Germany, that blurring is treated as something to actively resist, not simply accept. The word itself is old, tracing back to the evening before a public holiday. Fire meant celebration. Abend meant evening. Together, a small nightly holiday of your own. Over time, it stopped being about actual holidays and became about every single workday. Colleagues use it constantly, as both a farewell and a small shared understanding. Schönen Feierabend, they'll say. Have a lovely rest of the day. It sounds simple, but it isn't small. The phrase carries an unspoken agreement. I respect your time, and I expect you to respect mine.
That respect is often backed up by something firmer than good manners alone.
German labor law sets real limits on daily working hours and required rest periods. A minimum, uninterrupted rest of 11 hours is required between one working day and the next. Feierabend isn't just a nice idea people try to follow, it's structurally protected. It applies the same way across a company, from a junior employee to a senior manager. Staying late to look dedicated isn't rewarded here the way it might be elsewhere.
In fact, it can quietly read as poor planning rather than impressive commitment. Efficiency during the actual working hours is what earns respect, not visible overtime.
This creates an interesting rhythm. Intense focus during the day, complete release once it ends. Many Germans mark the exact moment with a small personal ritual of their own. Changing out of work clothes, taking a short walk, making a coffee that has nothing to do with work. A cold Feierabend beer and after-work beer is a especially well-loved version of this ritual. It isn't really about the drink itself. It's about a clear signal. The switch has been flipped. The habit has roots stretching back to agricultural life, long before offices existed at all. Church bells once marked the end of the working day in rural communities. That bell was the original Feierabend, a sound that gave everyone permission to stop together. Industrialization changed the work itself, but the underlying need for a clear ending stayed the same. Factory workers needed the same signal that farmers once had, just delivered differently. Over generations, the word simply moved from village church bells into everyday office life. What stayed constant was the core idea: work has an edge, and that edge deserves respect. Contacting a German colleague about work matters after their Feierabend has clearly begun is unusual. Unless it's a genuine emergency, it can come across as a real lack of consideration. And if someone doesn't reply right away outside working hours, it's simply understood, not questioned. Nobody assumes laziness or a lack of commitment from an unanswered evening message. They assume correctly that the person is doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing, living. This mindset extends into how German companies plan and protect vacation time as well. A defined legal minimum of paid leave exists, and using it fully is expected, not frowned upon. Working through a vacation or skipping it to look dedicated doesn't earn quiet admiration here. If anything, it can raise real questions about whether someone is managing their workload well. During the shift toward remote work, many people outside Germany suddenly lost their old cues. No commute to mark a beginning or an end. No physical desk to walk away from. The law behind it has a name, the Arbeitszeitgesetz, Germany's Working Hours Act. It sets clear daily limits and just as clearly protects the hours meant for rest. Even overtime has real boundaries, tracked and limited rather than quietly expected. German workers are guaranteed at least 20 paid vacation days every single year. Many companies offer even more, treating extra rest as an investment, not a cost. Carrying over unused vacation is generally discouraged, almost as strongly as skipping it. The thinking is simple. Rest that gets postponed indefinitely rarely actually happens at all. Work councils, present in many companies, exist partly to help protect exactly this boundary. They negotiate real limits on things like on-call hours and after-hours communication. It's a structural answer to a problem many countries leave up to individual willpower. Visitors sometimes assume this makes German workplaces less driven or less productive. The data tells a different story. German productivity per hour ranks among the world's highest. Feierabend, as a concept, offered exactly what a lot of exhausted remote workers were missing. A deliberate, chosen signal that says, this part of the day is finished now. Some workers borrowed the idea directly, creating their own small evening rituals from scratch.
A short fake commute around the block, a specific song, closing the laptop with a bit of ceremony.
The exact ritual matters far less than the fact that there's a ritual there at all. Researchers studying burnout and overwork often point to exactly this kind of boundary. A clear, repeated signal between working and resting appears to genuinely protect long-term well-being. Without it, work doesn't shrink to fit its hours. It simply expands to fill every open moment. Feierabend draws a firm, cultural line against exactly that kind of quiet, creeping expansion. It insists that rest isn't a reward earned after finishing every possible task. It's simply the other, equally important half of an ordinary day. So step back and consider what this one German word is actually protecting. Not laziness, and certainly not a lack of ambition or drive. Just the basic, structural idea that a person is more than their working hours. In a lot of modern life, productivity quietly becomes the main measure of a good day. Feierabend gently pushes back against that measurement without ever rejecting hard work itself. It simply insists that hard work needs a clear, honored edge to actually mean something. Otherwise, the hours blur together, and neither the work nor the rest gets done fully. There's something worth borrowing in that distinction. Wherever in the world you happen to work, you don't need a German office or a specific word to practice a version of this. Just a real, repeated signal that tells your own mind, this part of the day is done. Close the laptop fully. Change out of the clothes that remind you of work. Take the walk.
Let the evening genuinely begin instead of quietly continuing the day under a different name.
It sounds like a small thing, a single word, a short ritual, a closed laptop lid, but repeated daily over months and years, that small boundary adds up to something real. A life that doesn't just survive its working hours, but actually has room left over after them. At 5 o'clock in offices across Germany, that particular word starts getting said out loud. Schön Feierabend. Laptop's close. Shoes get swapped for something softer and more comfortable. Somewhere, a cold glass is being poured, not to celebrate anything special, just the ordinary end of a day. And for a few quiet hours, until tomorrow's work begins again, the evening genuinely belongs to no one but you. No inbox glowing in the dark. No quiet guilt about having stopped a little too early. Just an ordinary evening, fully lived. Exactly the way an ordinary evening was always meant to be. Tomorrow, the same rhythm starts again. Focus, effort, and eventually that same small word. Feierabend. Simple to say, and somehow still worth protecting one ordinary evening at a time.